Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today with you all. As an architect and an interior designer, I have spent most of my time in designing spaces. Now, these spaces were called homes eventually by the people. Over the period of time, I have realized one thing, that these spaces are looking similar all over the world. Now, how is it happening? There is something I want to tell you. While we are following international trends, are we forgetting our roots, our culture? India is rich in culture and heritage. We are good in sustainable designs. Our ancestors have designed homes which were sustainable. They were practical, beautiful, and meaningful at heart. In fact, nowadays I joke about something. If you remove family picture from the wall, you wouldn't know whether the place is in Mumbai, Milan, or Melbourne. Why is it happening? Our ancestors have treasured us with lot of sustainable designs, with art, architecture, and crafts. So let us make the most of it. Our ancestors designed homes using local materials. They reused what they had. These homes were climate friendly. But did they call this sustainable design? No, they didn't. They simply called it life. So today, I am going to speak on a topic which is very, very dear to my heart. How Indian art, culture, and sustainable design can shape our future generation. So imagine walking into a room where you have a Madhubani mural on the wall. This mural is talking about nature and harmony. Imagine walking into another room where there is a carpet, a handcrafted carpet, which tells us about generational wisdom of the artisans. Now you're walking into a room which is modern in design, but lost at its identity. So as an architect and an interior designer, is it not my responsibility to preserve culture and shape future? But this does not happen overnight. It needs experience. So I had my own. Once I walked into a carpet showroom with one of my clients just to buy a carpet. I thought of spending just an hour in this showroom. It was just another day. But when I walked into this showroom, this was an heritage carpet showroom, which is located in Mumbai, dated since 1967. And I was taken on a journey of civilization. These carpets represented cultures from Turkey, Portuguese, even Kashmir and Pakistan. These carpets represented cultures all over the world. So what I realized, was I looking at these as products? No, absolutely not. These were in fact stories woven into fabrics. So there is, maybe most of you all have heard about this news which is on social media recently, that our Mumbai International Airport is replacing iconic carpet which is there on the airport. Now I remember this carpet very vividly. Why do I remember this carpet? Is it because of the color, form, polka dots, horizontal and vertical lines? No. I remember this because it has India's art, peacock. It is our national bird, we all know that. So it has made a memory. In fact, recently I had also been as a jury member to an interior design institute. And I very, very clearly, vividly remember each and every work of the students. So these students were given a topic of taking any Indian art form as their work. They were given hypothetical spaces. And one of the students spoke about Paithani. She in fact took Paithani as an art form in her design. So Paithani, let me tell you, is a Maharashtrian sari which belongs to Paithan. It has a peculiar zari border with motifs. So she decorated the entire restaurant space taking Paithani as her art form, and it was beautiful. Now why I'm sharing this with you is, I observed our young generation is definitely inclined towards culture. It's just that we need to motivate them and encourage them. Our young generation today is inclined towards international trends as well. There is nothing wrong in globalization. I'm not against it. In fact, globalization and modern designs help us grow as designers. But can we dig into Indian art and culture? It has Madhubani, Kalamkari. It has terracotta. It has block prints. It has pichwai and a lot more. These are not just Indian art forms. These are the things which decorated our history. So just forgetting about them as something old is a loss on memory. Indian architecture and design has the capability and power to connect generations. A room can become a museum of culture. A home can become a storyteller. A designer can become a cultural ambassador. So, what message are we giving to our young generation? Are they supposed to choose between innovation and tradition? No. In fact, innovation grows stronger when it has roots. So, as a designer, I take it as my responsibility to preserve this culture. As I said before, our ancestors have given us a lot of treasure in the form of art, architecture, craft, and sustainable designs. Now, it is our responsibility to nurture it. We should design spaces which are not only beautiful, practical, but meaningful at heart. Because when we are connected to our roots, we not only stand still, but we grow stronger. So before I end my speech, I would like to tell you a small story, a small incident which happened in my life. It was the first day of my architecture. I entered into the classroom, and after me entered a very strict professor. A professor whose eye contact which was very difficult to look at. He was the professor who would ask questions very often. And guess who he picked for his first question? It was me. I stood up trembling. It was my first day. And let me tell you what was the question. Before that, I would like to tell you that I had many engineering friends, just like you all back then. A lot of friends from engineering faculty. And the question was, what is the full form of GT? So yes, just like this, the entire class burst into laughter. And the only thing I knew about GT was glass tracing. And I said it. On his face, this, yes, GT is glass tracing. Of course, he was expecting something like gully trap or something related to architecture, but I said glass tracing, but that was the thing I knew. And then he looked straight into my eyes, pierced into my eyes, and said, "Beta, aap bahut aage jaogi." So that was absolutely embarrassing day of my life. Everybody laughed. But in this, I would like to tell you all something. It is absolutely okay to make mistakes. It is absolutely okay to have these embarrassing moments because they teach you. They become stories of your life. They do not decide your journey. They do not decide your destiny. So today, I'm standing here in front of you all as an architect, interior designer, entrepreneur, and speaker. With this, I end my speech. It was a pleasure to be here once again. You were a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.